Kia ora and welcome to Tarmac. As you probably know, I am Dave.
I'm Matthew, and as you probably remember, this familiar face is the Hyundai i30n, but this is the Series 2 dual clutch model.
That's right, it's the new hot hatch from Hyundai that's basically got plenty of grin, but we'll get to that soon. Come, let's take a look at this. Now, as hopefully some of you remember, we actually reviewed the Series 1 of this vehicle about 3 years ago. My, how time flies when you're in lockdown. But anyway, this is the Series 2, and it's very subtle in the outside changes, but we'll get to those straight away. So the headlights themselves are a lot slimmer, and also V-shaped DRLs, so a little bit more going on there. Still got the M badging there. Oh, actually, there you go. So there's your DRLs and indicators. Look at that. Very smart. Down the bottom here, still got the same grille looking face, still much of the same face, and also the red pinstriping down the front and actually at the rear, but still good looking car, still a hot hatch. Round the side, our review model is in performance blue. I mean, it is a performance car, so it's quite apt. It's got these really, oh, look at that slither of rubber on these 19-inch wheels that are actually, they terrify me, particularly for curbs coming anywhere near it. And also N Sport brake calipers, just to make sure you stop well, and you do stop well. Looking further down, blackened out door mirrors, and also body coloured door handles, lots going on from there. And also the skirt here has got an N badging down the side here. A little bit more aggressive round the back here, as far as actually this bit here, just a little bit more edgy, a little bit more, I don't know, just tapered out, just giving it that more sportier edge. Round the rear, still comes with this big roofline spoiler, and also the triangular stoplight, which, I don't know, something feels very sporty about that. The rear tail lights here, as you can see, nice more LEDs and more of that triangular stuff going on. Hyundai badge. Also the lower bumper sort of has a fake diffuser here, but something that's not fake is the size of these massive exhaust tips. They're just huge, and they lead straight under the bonnet, so let's go there. A turbocharged 2-litre 4-cylinder that gives you 206 kilowatts of power and 392 newton meters of torque, all under boost, and we'll go to the boost bit in a minute. 0 to 100 in 5.4 seconds. I mean, this is a nice tidy little rocket, and boy, it is a rocket. Speaking of rockets, Matthew's inside and he'll show you what's going on in there.
While the design on the outside might be shooting for the stars like a rocket, the same really isn't true with the interior. I mean, it's nice in places, there's some blue highlights and things, but for the most part it's really bland, which is sad, because the character of this car, well, actually it is so characterful that to give it an interior like that seems almost like a double-edged sword. But let's focus on the good points here. So firstly, those seats. They have an N badge on them, they have that contrast performance blue stitching, and they're just so supportive. The bolstering around it is solid, and you need that, trust me, when you're in this car going around corners. The other N specific bit around here is of course the center console, where you have that dual clutch shifter. Again, it's got an N badge on it for the effect, and plenty of performance blue stitching and highlighting around. So Hyundai really want you to know the name of the brand and the symbol behind it, because, well, you should already know it by now, because it is one to take seriously. In terms of practicality, this is of course a hatchback, so that's still top of mind. You get some nice big door bins down the side. You get space for your phone over there with wireless charging, 2 cup holders, decent bit of space underneath there, and of course a good sized glove box too. The really good thing about this Hyundai is that they've kept the manual air conditioning controls. I mean, just look at that, knobs and buttons and things. That's really good to see. And even though they've updated that screen, you still get a nice big knob over there for the volume. So they have really made it driver friendly, as well as making it performance friendly, of course. Speaking of those performance bits, let's take a quick look at that infotainment screen. It's got this dark blue layout, which is really nice. And then if you swipe through there, that's really what we want over here. It's the N mode button. So you click into there and you get all sorts of essential information about your car. When I say essential, I mean stuff that you like to see while you're on the track. So your lateral G-force, turbo pressure, torque, power, and you can even time your 0 to 100 runs or runs around the track. So there's plenty going on here in terms of performance-focused telemetry, if you like. Some more performance-focused gauges, of course, are in front of you. So let's take a look at that. So in front of you is this leather-wrapped steering wheel. It feels really good to hold with these solid thumb grips, outlined in this performance blue stitching as well. You get 2 buttons over here which are also highlighted in performance blue. So one's your drive mode, which alternates between eco, normal and sport. And then on the right side you have the race mode, basically, with the checkered flag on it. And then a very cheeky move by Hyundai, they've hidden the N grin shift button right here, where you'll not expect it to be. No, in the corner end that we tested, it was a big red button over here, but Hyundai have been a little bit more discreet about this one. Something that's not discreet, however, is the gauges in front of you. So on the left side you have the rev counter, which has an N badge on it and has a highlighted kind of bar that'll illuminate to tell you when's the optimum point to shift. There's another bar just like that at the top of the dashboard here, and that flashes white, orange and then red to help you with your shift timings, basically. So this, if you needed any more credibility about this car, well, there you have it. That's performance focused. The rest of it, well, nice and simply laid out, a good combination of analog and digital as well. So it's a comfortable car as well as a performance car. So obviously the biggest change over here is this 8-speed dual clutch transmission, which is, it looks good and all from here, but really it performs superbly, and the only way to do that is to take it for a drive, of course. So the new Series 2 Hyundai i30n with the dual clutch gearbox, well, I've got to say that gearbox just changes everything. It's so much fun to drive, and frankly, I don't know what's the point of the automatic, because I've been driving it in manual mode the whole time.
That's only because you'd be terrified if you were to have the manual box, because you can't drive a manual properly. Anyway, it is it's the best of both worlds for you. I absolutely agree. It allows you to get involved in your driving as far as changing gear, and also if you want to be lazy and just put it into auto, then away you go.
And actually Hyundai think that adding the dual clutch gearbox is going to make this car so much more successful, and they think probably about 70 to 80% of buyers will actually opt for this dual clutch transmission, which makes sense, in today's day and age.
No, I think you're right. As old timers, a great manual gearbox is so involving, but nowadays with all the traffic, unless you get the freedom of away from the city, then it's semi-redundant really. The cabin itself is pretty bland, apart from that lovely N mode thing there, and also, all the fun's for the driver, isn't it? Which I guess it is a sort of driver's car.
Oh yeah, I think it definitely is a driver's car, with the focus on the steering wheel and all the blue going on over here. And then frankly, as Dave tried to hop in the back earlier, there's very little space in the back, so Hyundai kind of, giving you cues that you should be sitting up front here, and preferably in this seat.
Yeah, agreed. Steering wise, well, let's go through the basics. Visibility, what's that like?
It's, a Hyundai i30 at the end of the day, which is, a good car for visibility and practicality, and none of that really changes with adding an N badge to it.
Well, apart from the fact you're squinting because you're driving faster. Steering wise, you feel everything, particularly that thin leather, that thin rubber. Really do feel everything, particularly when you start moving up into, well, normal's bad, but sport is, you feel everything underneath.
Yep, right now we're in sport mode and we were going over some rougher roads, and you do need to shout a bit because you can't really hear each other that much in here.
Yeah, you're right, there's a lot of road noise. Steering wise though, very positive.
Absolutely, it's in sport mode right now and the steering is nice and tight and really good. It has generally a very fast steering setup, so there's not much lock-to-lock action going on, which means that the turning circle is a bit poor, but who takes U-turns,
The 5.4 seconds is nice. That's faster than your Golf, isn't it? I love saying that.
Quite a bit faster, yeah.
Golf sucks. No, I'm joking. It's but it is faster, isn't it?
It's really quick, and that sort of power, 206 kilowatts going to the front wheels. You can feel the torque steer when you're really putting your foot down. And I mean, that's, a lot of cars, modern performance cars these days, try to steer away from stuff like that. But I think it's really good that Hyundai has kept that torque steer, because it gives you, you do feel scared and you do feel on edge while driving this, which is really the aim of the game here.
I always feel scared when he's driving. The other thing about it is the N button, or the N Grin button, which just gives you that extra, 15 seconds of just top power and everything.
Yeah, 15 seconds of what I think absolutely everything the engine, chassis, gearbox can throw at you, unhinged basically.
That's excellent. And the rapping noise of popping and banging all the time has got to be a good thing as well. You didn't pop.
Well, it does take a bit of trickery to get it to pop and bang, but you can even get it to do that in eco mode, as I found out earlier today.
Fuel economy, look, we'll show you the numbers somewhere along here, but it's not that type of car.
Actually, the manufacturer's rating is 8.9 liters per 100 Ks, which is half decent, to be honest. And for a performance hatchback like this, with so much of power.
I'll move on. We don't care about about economy. The cornering feels really solid though as well.
The wider tires and that thin rubber and all that stuff makes sense, when you go around corners like this. I mean, this is a 100 zone road, let me clarify that, and I was going around that corner at about 105, and the car just stuck to the corner like, I don't know what's stickier than glue.
The brown stuff to a blanket is basically what we're trying to say.
That's what it feels like. And I hope that my driving is not throwing around the passenger too much. I mean, what do those seats feel like?
They're really grippy, as you say. They really figure hugging, and I've got plenty of figure to hug. But from a practical point of view, it's also got, from a daily use point of view, it's also got plenty of driver's aids and safety. I mean, it really does tick all the Hyundai boxes.
I mean, it has, forward collision warning and lane departure warning, and I thought it didn't have lane keep assist, but then somebody had just turned it off from the steering wheel there, and it really does, let me tell you. I think my favorite part of this i30n though is just the character that it has. Even with that first generation car with the manual gearbox, we had so much of fun going through the gears, getting it to pop and crackle, and it's noisy and it turns really hard and it looks crazy, and it's all the things that hot hatches are not these days. They're all trying to be grown up for some reason, but the i30n has a real playful character to it, and they've just kept that with this Series 2 model, and I think they've really done a good job with that.
So there you have it, the i30n Series 2. It's a practical, normal, everyday hatchback that just happens to be really, really track focused.
It is, everything you'd want your hot hatch to be. Noisy, aggressive, looks crazy. And now what Hyundai have done, just as Dave said, opened it up to the whole market with this dual clutch gearbox without changing the character of the car, which I think is the most important thing here.
Yeah, it's quite not an easy thing to do, I would say, to do all that. Well done, Hyundai. We give it a big tick of approval.
Definitely.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be around here somewhere. See you on the next one.